Hi, everybody. Welcome to UAA, and this is the Rusty Osborne Show, available to you a variety of places, and especially on YouTube. That's where I happen to watch it, since I'm on YouTube a lot. But chance to visit with Coach Osborne as the season winds down, and this last weekend, another tough road trip and another one in which you were competitive, but kind of injuries and the rigors of travel. Sometimes that catches up with you.
Yeah, I think that we're just so beat up right now. Everybody who follows us knows Sean got hurt. He's out for the season. Torn ACL, a couple other little things in there. So he's out. But we also didn't have John McFadden, who started a number of games for us this year at the power forward position, and even Luke Johnson, who hasn't traveled regularly but has traveled some. He was hurt last week also, so we went down on that trip with 9 players and not a lot of depth. Central game, I thought that we started out well. We withstood an early run and made one of our own, and got a 3-point lead there about 2/3 of the way through the first half. But then just has happened quite a few times for us. We hit a little offensive lull. They didn't score a ton of points, but they did go on a 12 or 14-0 run, which, I mean, for 7 or 8 minutes, 14 points is really not that many, but when you're not scoring yourself, it adds up. And so went in with, an 11 or 12-point deficit. And I thought that we did a good job of making some adjustments and fighting back. They were struggling to guard Bishop, and our guys were good. They were patient enough to get it to him and pay off, and we were able to make a run at the end there, and including in the last minute, they're down 6, we got a steal, and then just their kid made a nice play, read the pass, and we turned it over, which was really one of our only, it's only our 3rd turnover in the second half, and but it was a big one, and they made some free throws, and could have been a 3 or 4 point game if we convert off that, and we've got a lot of momentum. They were struggling against the press, but it didn't work out. And so they're a very good basketball team. They're playing together. They shoot it extremely well. They've got 3 or 4
first place.
And they deserve to be. They've got 3 or 4 guys shooting 50% from the 3, and I think they're shooting 41 or 42 from the 3 as a team. But they also have some kids who can drive it, get to the paint, and so I mean, giving up 70 points to them is, it's not unacceptable, but we've got to be able to score better than we have, and yeah, I mean, that was a tough one because we played very well against a very good basketball team. Saturday night, traveling over one more time zone to the Nampa Boise area, and playing the second place team in the league on the road. And I'm not sure. We didn't have our legs, didn't have the energy, but we did not respond very well in the first half. We let a little bit of their pressure get to us. I mean, they hit 3 threes in a row, and they're not a 3-point shooting team to start the game. I think that stunned us a little bit, but we were able to tread water there and get back in it. And
you know what I hate, Coach, is like you watch it on TV and a guy, 6'8" guy, hits one to step behind the line, and they go, "That's his 3rd 3 of the year."
Yeah.
So why against us?
Yeah, that happened, and so I mean, we really did not respond very well the rest of the half, and went in with quite a big deficit. And to the kids' credit, they came out and we competed in the second half, cut it down to 13 or 14 a few times. But when you have a short bench like we had, that takes a lot of energy to come back. And we lost our legs. We missed open shots, and we missed free throws. We were talking to Coach E. He and I were talking. We jokingly said we got to work on our free throw defense because teams are shooting it at a high level. I think teams are shooting about 88% over the last 4 games against us, including Nazarene going 19 for 19 from the free throw line the other night. So
hard to guard.
All in all, kind of a hit and miss weekend. as you know, as a former coach, you can play well. I thought we played well against Central and come up short against a good team, but then we did not play well against Nazarene, and we're going to have to turn it around this week in a big game against our friends up north.
Well, when you talk about depth, I think about occasionally you see a team come into UAA and it's like they're trying to save money, and they got 7 or 8, 9 guys, and I'm liking the looks of this. I think it was in Newberry, like they brought about 18 guys.
Yeah.
I say this, this might be a problem.
And Newberry is about like us. I think they're just around 500 or so. They kind of win one, lose one. But they were still a very good team, and
With depth.
With depth, yep. Even in the coaching staff, I think they had 3 or 4 coaches here as well. So, we had good practice today, and the guys are staying upbeat despite some of our struggles lately, and hopefully we can have 3 more good days of practice and get ready for this weekend.
So I think about the Patty Center, and I remember when UAF had their tournament and went up for a few of those at the Carlson Center, which isn't that far off of Sullivan Arena, or at least what Sullivan Arena used to be. But yet, they choose to play on campus and at the gym there, and it's kind of like Duke in a small gym. They get kind of wild, and while other crowds might be good around the league, I don't know if there's a better crowd or more intense crowd than you see at Fairbanks.
Well, certainly against us, the rivalry aspect from their school and their fan base. They do a good job of supporting all their teams when they play the Seawolves, and we'll expect a raucous crowd. We just played in 2 pretty good environments last weekend. Both those teams are right there at the top of the league with us in attendance, and Central was second part of a doubleheader, and the first was Central Western women's game, which is drew a big crowd, and most of them stayed over for our game, and so that was a big time atmosphere. And then Nazarene had quite a big crowd also, and so we're used to playing in good atmospheres, and it'll just be can we execute what we're supposed to do better than them.
Yeah, I guess when I think of Fairbanks too, I think the smaller town and the chip on their shoulder, it goes from the players into the crowd, and it's like you said, going to be a hostile environment.
Yeah, this is a big weekend for them. They're as it is us. They're playing us. They're also, like us, fighting for a conference championship or conference championship berth
Right.
into the tournament. And I'm sure that Frank will have those guys ready to go, and I'm sure their fans will be juiced up and ready to go also. It's an afternoon game, and we don't have to wait till 7 o'clock at night like we do sometimes to play that
Right.
game. So, but looking forward to it. Just looking forward to getting back out on the court and try to get some victories.
Well, one thing I think about too is UAF's been above expectations. You maybe expect a little better season, but I think the truth is if you qualify for the playoffs, I kind of look at those first, second, third. You don't want to play UAF and UAA right now because you're kind of expected to win, but those are going to be really good 5th and 6th place teams as well.
I think whoever ends up 5th or 6th in our league's got a chance to beat the top teams. First they'll have to go through the 3rd and 4th seeds, but that's happened quite a bit over the last 4 or 5 years. I think we were 6th seed a couple of years ago and went all the way to the championship game. Nazarene was a 6th seed a couple of years ago, and they won the championship. And so there's a lot of parity in our league, even if the records don't say it is. If you look at the scores, you can see that. We talked last week about us and Simon Frazier both having played, 5 games in a row that came down to a 1 possession, and that's happening all over the league. Just last week, our game against Central, where we could have had it 1 possession there in the last 30 seconds. Seattle Pacific hit a big game-winning shot against Western Washington on Saturday. It just goes on and on and on. And so really in our league, just about anybody can beat anybody, especially if you're playing them on a neutral court, which other than St. Martin's, that's what you'll get in the conference championship.
Right. Well, I think you'll be glad to know that part of our family's heading up there, and so instead of 12 or 14, it might be 20 or 22 in the minority. And I think I was telling you a little earlier that I really feel a connection with almost all the players, but it's been Hassan Harrington that's really just become my favorite player, really, in the way he plays. And I remember, some of the first games where he really started to come on, and I don't know, he doesn't play perfectly, but he doesn't, it's never because the effort's not there.
No, Hassan's just a tremendous young man, both on and off the floor. But on the floor, he plays so hard, and even when he makes his mistakes, his heart's in the right place. He's trying to do what we ask him to do. He's not a kid who is just going to go off on his own just to do it. He certainly will make some mistakes, but the best thing about Hassan is I can throw him in just about any position. He can guard just about anybody. He can play offensively at just every position. I mean, really, we haven't played him at the 1 or the 5 offensively, but I think at some point for multiple minutes, not just on little switches, he's guarded every position on the floor, and he's guarded it well. Our team feeds off his energy. He's really, in this day and age, he's the epitome for us of a positionless guy. We just find whatever position we need him to play that night, it's been fun to watch him go from being a guy getting 15 or 16 minutes a game last year off the bench, finding his way to being one of our regular guys, and not shooting it quite as well as he was 2 or 3 weeks ago, but even when he doesn't shoot it well, he impacts the game.
He goes and
in all
it back
areas.
sometimes.
Yeah, tangibles and intangibles. So we love having Hassan in our team, and I know his teammates love having him as a teammate also.
Well, you talked about his defense, and you talked about him guarding bigs, and that becomes important especially because you're not especially big. There's no 6'10", 7-footers out there, and then there's always a foul, aspect, and so eventually someone has to guard the bigs, and I can just in my mind see him go up and take one away or bump people when he has to. So you talk about defense. He's versatile on offense, but versatile on defense.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a few spectacular plays over the last few weeks. I remember a big block. He came out of nowhere a couple of games ago, and then he came out of nowhere against Central and knocked away an alley-oop pass.
Right.
And so he can do some spectacular things. He made the game-winning basket against Simon Frazier, and so again, just really happy for the success that he's having because of the effort he puts every day in practice and the pride he takes in playing for his hometown. And we're lucky we're going to get him for another year. We got the rest of this year, and then because he redshirted at Tyler, he'll have another year next year also. And looking forward to continue to coaching.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good feature here. I think sometimes I get off track a little bit, and we need to highlight players, and so we'll see who does well this week, and we'll look to do that again. I don't know, we've talked about the matchup already, so I guess it's just a matter of playing the game. And I think about the last game, which was heartbreaking in a lot of ways because of what they did, but on the other hand, you did it to them as well. You had a huge run against them, then they had the huge run at the end, so there's no doubt if you play a certain way, the game's gonna go. So I think, it really makes it it's gonna be a tight contest.
Well, I would expect it to be a tight contest. And, we're different. Sean played in the last game, and he's out. John played in in fact, John started the last game. He will not play this week. But from a strategic standpoint, we're going to have to guard the 3-point line better. they are a good 3-point shooting team. But they shot it excellent against us. I think they had their highest 3-point percentage on the year, 53% or something like that. And so even though they're going to make some threes because they've been pretty consistently 36, 37%. But we did not do a good job guarding the 3-point line. So we got to do a better job of that. And then we've got to find a way to score consistently. We scored 4 or 5 points in the last 9 minutes of the game when we had it under control. That's a challenge without a talented player like Sean in the lineup. But we're expecting those other guys to step up. Whoever's in there, Dylan Barrientos, who plays with a lot of experience, Zach Ibbotson, and who knows, Parker Kroon or Luke Johnson may get a few minutes. And if they do, we'll expect them to have success as well. But we're going to have to defend them from the 3-point line a little bit better than we did last time.
A little different too, and it's a 1-game week, and you got a little more time to prepare. You go to Thursday, you're not gearing up for that game, so I think both teams, they're going to focus on each other regardless, but it's even more so with the 1-game week.
Well, I think so, and I would imagine they've had a few injuries here and there. They haven't lost a lot of guys for the year, main guys, but they've had some main guys out. So a lot of their guys have been playing a lot of minutes, and this is a good week this time of year for both of us, I think, to give our guys a little bit of time off, maybe cut the practices down by 30 minutes or so, save their legs a little bit. But with 5 days, we're still able to get all the preparation we need in, and so looking forward to being home here and not have to worry about traveling, and just getting back into a little bit of a rhythm this week. Not only academically for the guys, but in our personal lives also. Chance to unpack the suitcase and do some laundry before we have to pack it again in another 10 days.
Well, don't tell me about laundry because I'm finding out a lot about it. And there's a debate in our family. It's actually not much of a debate of driving or flying. And I think I told you that I was talking to my brother, you know him, and I said, I think I'm going to drive, and he said, I'll meet you up there.
No debate.
No debate. But we're in Alaska Airlines, arena, and that's how we're going to get up there, I'm pretty sure.
Nice. Well, we look forward to seeing everybody, and I know there's a little bit of a split loyalty there now with Tobin on staff.
I find myself cheering for the green. Don't tell the whole thing.
So we're looking forward to it. It'll be a tough game for both of us, but this is why you play. This is why you coach. These are the kind of games that are fun, and I expect it to be, like you said, a tight, hard-fought game, and hopefully we can make a few plays and come out with a win and keep ourselves alive.
All right, so everybody looking forward to University of Anchorage. I like to call them University of Alaska Fairbanks because they like to be called Fairbanks. But we look forward to that game. You can follow it on GoSeawolves.com. And good to have another week of the Rusty Osborne Show. And we're coming down to a close. We'll have a few more of the shows. We'll get our Harry Larrabee stories ready to go, and maybe some other stories. Especially, I think we went back and forth about SWT now, Texas State. So we have that time to remember together. So we thank you for joining us, and looking for a great Saturday night game. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Brad.